Hey guys, Dr. Andy here. Today I want to introduce you to our Normatec recovery boots. We have just added this to the office for all of our runners, maybe some CrossFitters, and anyone else who just really loves leg day, right? So if you are a runner or a CrossFitter or anyone who really kind of uses those legs pretty extra heavy, you know what I'm talking about when I say that after a good workout or after a good run, you've got a couple hours to even maybe a couple of days worth of soreness and tightness in your legs. And that's coming from lactic acid buildup, that's coming from the muscles being a little too tight, a little too stiff, okay? So imagine instead of having a couple of days worth of soreness, you actually strap on the recovery boots, and there's two of them, one for each leg, starts down at the bottom. We zip these suckers all the way on up, and the boots themselves actually start to inflate and compress your legs, starting at the foot and then working its way all the way on up. And if you do this, it's like a really awesome massage, and you can set it for however long you want. If you're doing it before a run or before a workout, maybe 20 minutes, it's really awesome for a recovery after a run. Do it for at least 30 minutes. And what that is going to do is it's going to clear out all of that extra fluid that we build up during an intense workout or an intense run. It also speeds up and elevates our blood flow, and whenever we have that, we heal faster. So anytime that you hear heal faster, you should be thinking recover faster. It's awesome because I just went for a run yesterday, strapped these suckers on, and I felt kind of sore after the run, but guess what? After the recovery boots, I felt that I could go back out there and hit the gym, maybe do leg day, maybe do some squats right after, right? So if you are a runner and you absolutely hate that feeling of being sore after a run or after leg day, you strap on the Normatec recovery boots. It's a compression, like inflation and then compression of the legs working from the foot all the way on up, and it speeds up our recovery time. If you have any questions, always send them my way. Always remember to live with passion, not pain.